In this video, we're going to show you how to create an Amazon business that does 1 million a month on autopilot. And the way we're going to achieve this is by building systems. So a lot of people, they build an Amazon business that does 10K a month, it does 100K a month. But the moment they stop working on it, the business dies. If you guys think a million is clickbait, I'm here with Eric, who has sold 6.5 million in 1 month. And he does several million every month on Amazon between him and his partner, Sebastian. So welcome to the show, brother, and excited to dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
Yeah. So let's kind of break down what main systems do people need to focus on when they're running an Amazon wholesale business?
Yeah. So numero uno, I'm going to put so much stress and importance on it. The most important role in every Amazon business, especially one scaling to $1 million plus in monthly revenue, is your buyer. Right? Whoever's buying your inventory needs to be well trained. They need to understand Keepa data, analyze competitors, know how to understand variation listings, analyze buy box statistics. They have to be well equipped and understand the Amazon marketplace, seasonality, price changes and fluctuation, supply and demand, like all of these things, because if they're not buying the right products, it doesn't matter what you do after that. Your account health, your shipping, how much cheaper you can save on your boxes. None of that matters if you're not buying the right
polish
product.
on a pig at that point. It's like you got this system, but you ain't cranking profit. So what's the point in polishing everything else?
Yes. Yeah. So that's 100% step one. And here's a common mistake a lot of people do. They instantly outsource the buying to virtual assistants.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like if you don't understand the fundamentals yourself, you don't even have the skill set to review your VA's work to make sure that they're doing it properly.
Agreed. I think that's a huge mistake. It's capital allocation. You're putting your money in. The whole name of this game, no matter what Amazon business model you're doing, is like how much money can you put in and get it back out at a higher amount and as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And if you're going to focus on systematizing a part of your business where you put money in and you're sacrificing how much money can come back and how quickly it comes back. Let's say you hire a virtual assistant and instead of when you were buying, you had 30% ROI and you had a 2x, 3x sell-through rate. Now, if you have a virtual assistant, if you get 1.5 or if you get lower ROI, let's say like 10%, now you're getting less money back. It's taking longer to sell. You just halted your business by systematizing and delegating it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah, especially for the buying position. You know, it's the hardest to train as well, because if you post a job posting on Monster, Indeed for an Amazon buyer, you're not going to get any qualified candidates because it's not a common position.
Yeah. So theoretically in the future, you know, people do want to eventually delegate that. What does that look like at scale? And how have you optimized your delegating your sourcing?
Yeah, so it will go two ways. You can either do it in-house, which I prefer, getting people from this United States to, you know, work either from home or at our warehouse. Or the second thing, which we also do, is hire virtual assistants. But I think what's most important of whichever route you go is training. You know, for the first 90 days, our VA buyers, we're jumping on a phone call a day with them, 5 days a week for an hour each for 90 days straight, making sure that they're sufficient in their processes. And then our in-house buyers, I've moved them into my office before where they have a desk in my corner for 60 days and we just work hand in hand, me trying to input this into their brain.
How much are you paying the overseas people?
It ranges anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour, depending on, you know, how qualified they are. And we incentivize them based on profits they bring into our company, not ASINs, not products research, actual profits.
Gotcha. And how many of those do you have versus in-state employees?
Yeah, so we have 3 in-house buyers and each buyer has a virtual assistant. So we have about 3 and 3.
Okay. That's pretty small, actually. There's people out here doing OA with like 30 VAs.
Yeah.
And you're running. I think wholesale in nature is a little bit lower maintenance. That's what I really like about wholesale. That's why I've gravitated towards it. You can put 100K. I have one supplier now. I'm putting 100K a month in that supplier, and it just doesn't require as much moving parts, you know?
No.
So,
and also our team is very qualified. I work one-on-one with, I don't know, 40, 50 of the largest wholesale businesses in the space. And I would maybe hire 1% of their buyers at my company.
Gotcha. So we talked about delegating, sourcing, systematizing that part of it. What other aspects of the wholesale business need to be systematized in order for you to have a real business that you can kind of like take your hands off of?
Yeah. So number two, numero dos, would be account health. You got to stay on top of your account health, because if you get some IP complaints, trademark infringements, a suspension,
I feel
you
like you're
got to
personally
be
attacking me
proactive.
right now.
Yeah, yeah. No pun intended here, Rover. No pun intended. But you got to stay on top of your account health, right? And in the beginning, what that typically looks like is you being the business owner, having a firm understanding of how to navigate Amazon account health issues. And also not being afraid, if you need to write a POA, not being afraid to pay a service the $2,000, $2,500, instead of submitting it 10 times over and
Not
over.
Riverbend Consulting. I tried that. It didn't work with them.
There's a lot of companies out there that have great
There are
services.
a lot. I'm working with a happy Amazon seller now, and he's actually taken a lot more detail into it. But no,
Yeah.
100%. And I would also say for people, I'm actually writing a whole article on like how to not get your Amazon account suspended.
Yeah.
What is it called? Amazon Health Assurance. Is that what it's called? It's like make sure that is on. Go to your account and make sure
Yes.
your health assurance is on. And they're saying that they will not deactivate you out of nowhere, which mine was not on. They will not deactivate you out of nowhere as long as you have that on. They'll have someone call you first and have a conversation before they deactivate you. And my accounts were pretty old, and so I didn't have that activated. And so they just deactivated my account immediately. And a bunch of new sellers automatically have that turned on. So make sure Amazon Health Assurance is on in your account. That's a pro tip.
I concur 100%.
Okay, so we got the suppliers, we got the purchasing on the sourcing side, which you don't recommend delegating, and I think that's great advice starting out. I think you should focus on getting really good at that. Number two, make sure your Amazon account doesn't get shut down. I think that's also really good advice. What about what other systems we need to delegate and automate?
Yeah, so number three would be it's twofold, right? Prep, or what we call packer, which is like your in-house employee, or prep center, being your outhouse, your outsourced employee. So having an understanding of how they operate and knowing your exact costs of what it takes for you, whether you have a warehouse or you're doing it in your living room or you're using a prep center, what's your cost per ASIN to get it in one door and out the other? Because as soon as you know that number, let's just say it's $1.50, now you'll be able to set your buying prerequisites at $2.50 or $3, because you know, hey, on average, it cost me $1.50 to even get this product from its original location to Amazon.
100%, yeah. And so, would you recommend prep centers starting out? Would you recommend keeping it in-house? What kind of advice are you giving to your students?
Yeah, I always suggest splitting it up, doing a not a 50-50 split, but a what makes sense split. So especially if you're operating out of your home, which a lot of new sellers are, definitely leverage a prep center if you're buying from across the country. But if you have a supplier right in your neighborhood or in your city, I encourage you, get it to your house, right? Learn the process of packaging these items, labeling them, so you can kind of understand what happens behind the scenes.
What other systems do we have?
Yeah, so
repricing's got to be up there.
Yeah, there was two more I was going to touch on, and repricing is definitely one of them. Because you could be buying the greatest products, but if you're not managing your repricer and repricing them properly, some of them won't sell. Some of them will sell too low, and you'll miss out on profits. Some of them will be listed too high, and you won't sell them at all. So I suggest using a repricer, especially with options like Be Cool and Go Aura, Seller Snap. They range from $40 to a couple $100 a month, so it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Do you guys have an in-house or what's it called, like a custom repricer, or do you guys use a repricer in the market?
We've since built our own that we use, but I have a few recommendations. I think if you're doing under 20 to 25 a month, I recommend using something like Be Cool. It's rather inexpensive. It has some nice resources. And then typically anything over 25,000 a month, I recommend a more advanced repricer like Seller Snap.
Gotcha. What advice do you have for people listening? I think a lot of my listeners could benefit from having good inventory management advice. What advice would you have in terms of like actually getting rid of inventory, like when to cut your losses versus like a lot of people are like, I have to make 20% ROI. I have to make 20. Like, at what point are you like, nope, fuck it. We're going to lose 20% ROI. We're going to lose 50% ROI, but at least you're going to get your money back in your account. What's your philosophy with that?
Yeah, and that's funny you bring that up because that was literally number 5 for me, excess inventory. You know, how to liquidate excess inventory. Typically, first go-to, obviously you got to analyze the listing, right? Because maybe one seller jumped on and they listed it $5 less, but they're going to sell out in a couple days or even a week or two. At that rate, I'll usually wait, let them sell out so I can win the buy box. But if you've analyzed the listing, there's absolutely no chance, you know, all the sellers have a lot of inventory. They're going to be in stock for months. Typically, I will just drop the price on the product at a break even or even 10, 20% loss and get that cash back rather than having it sit in Amazon for 3-4 months collecting storage fees.
Awesome. I know you got to go at 2:45. Do I have time for 2 more minutes?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, quick question. I want to know what your Q4 strategy is, but before we dive into that, real quick, I got to show the people something I've been working on. A lot of you guys know this, some of you guys might not, but I got a software called GoToLister. In this software, can you see my screen good?
Yeah.
Okay, the software shows you how much profit you're making each month. So like the Amazon seller app is going to show you how much sales you're doing, but we'll show you how much profit you're making after buy cost and after Amazon fees. You'll have this number here. You can also create shipments here. So if you go to create batch, you can create FBA shipments, MF shipments. And something cool that we've just allowed our users to do is you can download all of your sales data and you can download all your items listed. And with these 2 raw data reports, we'll give you a spreadsheet if you sign up for our software. It's 100% free to sign up, free trial, and then it's $50 a month after that. If you sign up, and we'll email this to you. This is, you can copy and paste your listing data and your sales data, and what it will do is tell you when you need to buy more inventory. So I think that's another important system, is making sure you always have, for me, I like to do a 30-day supply of inventory. So this is going to factor in how many items did you list. Let's say you listed 100 of one ASIN. And then let's say the projected sales data, which this spreadsheet's going to calculate, is 200. That means that you're 100 short because you only have listed 100. Your projected sales are 200. Therefore, you need another 100 in order to have a 30-day supply of this. So if you guys sign up for GoToLister, not only can you make shipments, send them to Amazon, see what your profit is, you can also see what items you need to buy more of with this simple spreadsheet. And you'll get this when you sign up at GoToLister.com. 14-day free trial, cancellation anytime you can cancel. And yeah, if it doesn't help your business and make you at least $50 extra in profit a month, I'm probably doing something wrong. So back to the video. Q4 strategy specifically for wholesalers. What kind of advice do you have? And then we'll wrap it up.
So I guess my next, because we're talking about building Q4 strategies.
Yeah. If you have another tip too, we would love to have that. So if you want to
Q4 strategies, one, you should be buying Q4 inventory already. We've been purchasing it for 2 or 3 months. And the way that looks is a simple email to your suppliers. Hey, it's Eric. I'd love to get your, seasonal catalog or any holiday deals you have going. A lot of them are already buying and selling that inventory way before Q4 starts. Number 2 is pay attention to trends. For example, during Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, grocery crushes, canned goods, baking goods sell really well. Right around the holidays, toys start to pick up in sales. And then even after Q4, a lot of people get returns and gift cards. So like the sales continue into January, February as well. So don't sleep on the opportunity. But something Sebastian tells me all the time, it's like, if we see it happen, all these people, they try to go all in Q4, but it's like, listen, you're trying to go to the playoffs when you didn't play any of the games previously and you haven't been participating and your team sucks. You can't just show up to the playoffs and expect to do well.
Yeah. That's a very Sebastian thing to say.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. Real quick, I also, when it comes to FBA versus MF, are you doing any MF during Q4? And if you, so you're doing more FBA. So can you talk a little bit specifically about, like, are you loading up on FBA inventory like in October, or what's kind of the cutoff for that?
Yeah, so where Amazon will typically provide the cutoffs for inventory to be received for specific holidays, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, right? Those bigger holidays. And yeah, we're essentially loading up on that inventory based on sales velocity and projections. You know, we don't want to go too aggressive. We don't want to go too light. Sometimes it happens. You make adjustments accordingly. But the goal is to get as much inventory into Amazon, assuming it's going to sell and you've done your research, as possible in the fourth quarter.
Gotcha. Awesome. Great tips, man. Everybody can follow Eric below. Go be sure he's got a ton of free videos on YouTube. I'll also link a video below where he spoke at Miami Sellers Conference. If you guys want to watch that, people paid $1,000+ to show up. It's on YouTube for absolutely free. And we'll probably have you at Miami this next year. I haven't confirmed if you're going to speak or not. I haven't asked you personally, but we want you to speak. We'll be doing it the weekend after ASD in March. So hopefully we'll have you there. And if you guys want to see if Eric's speaking there or not, obviously go to MiamiSellersConference.com and we'll have his photo there if he's there. But you're always invited to these events, man.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Sweet.
absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Rather. Yep. Peace.